Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Anything Blows. My name's Egbunike, and after knowing this man almost a year now, proud to have him on the channel, Tyrone King. Finally, how you doing, my man?
Yeah, all good, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm great. Unfortunately, it didn't come home in the summer, but what I've realized on your Instagram post, you said it didn't come home yesterday, which was at the time of you posting the post, but you'll bring it home in October. Talking about that, we have fight news. You're fighting for your first professional title October the 12th against Egbunike, Kingsley Egbunike, I believe the name is, just because he goes by Obi, but name on there. Yeah, Kingsley Egbunike, the current Southern Area Super Welterweight champion. You're fighting for your first fight. Guy who's 9-3-1. He's defended the title. If not, I know he's definitely won it on the Wasserman show a few months back. Talk about him and what do you know about your opponent?
I know he's boxed for an English title against Lee Cutler. He had a good fight against him. Held his own. I thought he boxed a good fight, and he avenged his loss against Jordan Dujon and won the Southern Area. So yeah, he ain't a bad fighter. He's a good fighter. He lost in the Ultimate Boxer. I see that, but you can't think too much into people's past history and their losses. I'm looking at his best performances, and that's what I'm looking at, and that's what I'm aiming to exploit and beat.
And talk about your mindset, and also, as you said, unfortunately, the three lines didn't bring it home. But what makes you so confident, and what makes you believe that you have enough to bring it home October 12th?
I just believe in myself. I believe in my team. I've been sparring top talents in the gym, people that are a level above him, and doing more than holding my own with them. Yeah, this fight's come at the perfect time, really. I beat a good fighter in my last fight, and I believe that if I hit anybody clean on the chin, they'll go, to be honest. So yeah, there's no like bad feeling towards him. I just believe it's my time, and at the end of the day, boxing's about testing yourself, and that's what I'm in the sport for, and that's what I'm doing.
I love to hear that. And do you feel like, you mentioned it there, most people will look at records and everyone says records are for DJs, but you're only 5-0 with 1 KO. He's 9-3-1. He's been in there with experienced guys, and you said he avenged the loss against Jordan Dujon. Do you read into that, or is it a matter of timing and you put records aside, it's styles make fights?
Yeah, exactly. Styles do make fights. I believe he's beat some good fighters. He's been in with some good fighters as well. Even I think his best performance was against Lee Cutler, which he lost in. So obviously he's a good fighter himself, but I don't think he's boxed anybody as strong as me, or anybody who can punch like me either. So we'll see on the night.
I love to hear that. So before we end on him and we end it on him, talk about yourself. Where did the desire come from to become a professional boxer?
Well, I walked in the gym when I was about 16 years old, and what it was, I was going out with my friends, doing the usual teenager stuff, getting into trouble, and my mate's dad actually owned a boxing gym, and he said, why don't you come up to the boxing gym one night? And I went up there, and I wasn't as good as I thought I was, but that stuck with me, and I wanted to get good, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, just stuck with it, done a few amateur fights, went through the amateurs at CNS, ABC, went to Rumbles for a couple of years, and then just thought, let's go for it. Let's turn pro.
Love to hear it. And how long have you been at Rumbles for?
I've been at Rumbles now for about 6 years, 7 years or so.
I love to hear that. And what was your amateur career and amateur achievements?
I didn't really achieve anything as an amateur, to be fair. I boxed, just had a few local show fights and stuff like that on other clubs, but I never got to like no finals or anything. So didn't really live the life as an amateur, to be honest. I was going out partying. I was a teenager, you know. So when I went to Rumbles, that's when I switched on and turned it around.
And it sounds like our great mate and your great mate, James Hawley, similar backstory, but now on the right path and chasing greatness. So we talk about that there. You're 5-0, 1 KO. You fought Berman Sanchez, tough journeyman. Well, he's not. Well, now it's not a winning record, but I'm not sure. But at the time it wasn't. But he's tough as nails. Then you fought Joe Hardy as well, who's another great fighter. Talk about your first 5 professional contests and Lorenzo Grasso. Talk about your first 5 contests.
Well, I think when I boxed Alex Berman Sanchez in my third fight, I think he had 22 knockouts on his record, 30 wins. So obviously he did have a few losers as well, but taking a fight like that against somebody who can obviously whack early on in your career is good. And then when I boxed Joe Hardy, he actually dropped William Collar on the Matchroom show literally the week before. So when I watched it, I was thinking, oh, this could be a tough fight here, but I beat him 40-36. So that was a good performance. And then literally a few months later, got off, literally on the Monday, actually, after the Joe Hardy fight, Johnny Clark offered me Lorenzo Grasso, and he was 5-1 at the time. And then so I accepted it straight away, but then he actually stopped a journeyman before fighting me. So he come into the fight 6-1, coming off a stoppage. So good win that was.
And talk about your professional debut. And did you have any nerves? Did you have any jitters? Or did you feel like that as well was at the right timing and meant to be?
No, I'll tell you the story, right? On my pro debut, I actually, I never had a nutritionist or anything. So I made weight. I went and weighed in, and I stuffed my face with Nando's and everything. But after the day of the fight comes, the following day, and I had acid reflux because I just rehydrated terribly. But so I wasn't really feeling well. But actually, on my debut, I performed quite well. Boxer Luke Middleton, he was tough. Yeah, but yeah, of course, there's always nerves, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. The nerves make you sharp.
I love to hear that. And then George Rogers, talk about that one.
Yeah, George Rogers was really tough actually because I was going through a bit of a bad time at that time when I boxed him, and I weren't actually with Billy Rumble. I was with another guy for a couple of weeks. To be honest, I probably shouldn't have even boxed him because I was training like on my doorstep and training myself pretty much. But yeah, boxing, George Rogers is tough. He's a tough guy. He's good.
And now, before you go back on to your next fight, talk about your team, talk about your head coach and the people you have around you in your corner.
My coach is Billy Rumble. I've got a strength coach called Alex Palmer, and I've got a nutritionist, Jack Coke. And then in the gym, we've got Zach Free, 5-0 pro, Brandon Albrechts, who's really good talent as well. Who else have we got? I think we're the only pros there now, to be honest. We've got a guy called Camille Henderson, who's a really good up and coming amateur as well. But we're all pushing each other on, like, to be better, if you know what I mean.
100%. And you literally posted on your story a matter of hours ago is that you have to have fun in the gym as well as like having great people around you. So just talk about that, because there's one thing to be at a big gym, there's one thing to be at a great gym, but to have the right head coach, to have the right stable mates, to have the right people around you, how important is that in boxing? Because you explained a moment ago when you're training yourself, it wasn't really the best, but how good does it feel? You've got everyone with the same mindset and everyone's leveling you up and you're leveling the people around you up.
Yeah, well, so we could walk in the gym one day and Zach might be a bit tired or I might be a bit tired, but then you push each other, you raise each other up, you know what I mean? So we all want the best for each other, and when you're with a team like that, the only way is up.
Love to hear that. And talking about that, you mentioned Zach Fee. I can't believe, but ever since December, February, April, June, were you at all of his shows for Top Tier for those ones?
Yeah, I go watch Zach every time, pretty much.
I don't know how I've missed you in the arena.
I've seen you walking about.
I love that. I'm hiding in the shadows, keeping an eye on me, and now I've got you now. Yeah, December, I was on the same table as Sam Gilly, Molly Mason, James Hawley, just vibes. And I realized I saw on an Instagram post, I was like, no way, I miss you, bro. And then, yeah, I just don't know how I've missed you. But yeah, we finally got an interview done, and we'll get one done in person soon. So now, going back onto your fight, and you talked about respect, and you talk about it's a game fight. Do you feel any nerves, animosity, any like you said, it's the perfect timing. But do you feel anything going into this fight, or do you feel it like it's destined to be, and it's your time? Because you said he's never been in anyone like yourself. I know you said he's been in with Lee Cutler, but talk about what you have different to Lee Cutler and all his past opponents.
I just think I've got. I think one thing as well. I think he's going to underestimate me big time because I feel like a lot of people do. And what I've got, Lee Cutler's obviously a brilliant fighter. He's got his own talents and things that he does better than me. But I just think I'm different, and I know that I showed it in my last fight. One punch, I can change a fight, and not a lot of people have got that. Yeah, I just believe it's my time, and there's no animosity. It's just a fight at the end of the day, just business. Beat him, get on to the next one.
And would you expect? Do you expect it to be a 10-round decision war? Do you expect a close contest, or do you think you can stop it?
I think it could go either way. I think it could be a hard fight. I think I could hit him and him go quick. But we're preparing for a 10-round war.
I love that. And is the mindset in there, like I asked many other fighters, go for the knockout, just beautifully box, or is it all by any means necessary, just having your hand raised and that strap at the end of the night?
Yeah, by whatever means necessary. Obviously, I'm not going to look for a knockout at all. The 10 rounds, obviously, I've only been 4 in my professional career because the Lorenzo fight was a 6-round contest, but obviously I stopped him in 2. So, yeah, nobody wants to go 10 rounds, but I'll be ready to do 10 rounds if I have to.
I love that. And do you feel like you wanted an 8-rounder, or because when I spoke to James Hawley, and everyone knows this in boxing, you want an 8-rounder then to go into title contention just before you fight for your first title. Do you feel like you needed an 8-rounder, or you're happy with what you've done so far?
Logically, it would have been better just to have an 8-rounder and then go into it. But at the end of the day, I think you can do the 8 rounds, you can do the 10 rounds and whatever, but if you knock them out in 2 rounds or you knock them out in 3, then it's rounds on the fight, on the night, you'll be ready for 10 rounds because you're going to prepare for 10 rounds anyway. So I don't see how boxing a journeyman over 8 rounds will get you in any better nick to box a prospect over 10, to be honest. But that's just me.
No, 100%. And as you said, journeyman, credit to them. But when you're both game, when you both come to fight, then it shows like the elite level. So I want to talk about something here, and it's not to be disrespectful, but you've also commented on this post, and I think you know what I'm going to talk about here. But you've put good luck, may the best man win. He's posted a picture of a cartoon animated with him with the strap around his waist, blood all over him in box, and it's got your head cut off next to him, and then he's got the fight poster on the second post, and on the last post he's got an image of someone just doing this. What do you make of that? Because like you said, you've been classy, you've been respectful, you've kept it professional. Do you take that to heart? Do you get annoyed? Because one, do you think he's doing it personally to you, or do you think he'd do it regardless who his opponent is?
I don't think it's anything personal because he doesn't know me, but no, it doesn't get under my skin at all, to be honest, because it's just silly, and posting things on Instagram at the end of the day, still going to have, like I said, the best man will win, and that's it.
And you talk about that there, and I don't want to go into it and I don't want to comment on it, but we see tomorrow night for the WBC International Super Welterweight title, Joe Laws and Stephen McKenna. There's a positive and there's a negative for social media. Positive that you make the memes, the reels, and it goes back and forth, and it actually is maybe amusing or funny to the fans. But at the same side, you want to be professional, because you take social media away, all that matters is who gets that title at the end of the day. You can have all the posts, you can have the better posts, you can have the more views, more clicks, more likes, but it's who has that strap around their waist. What do you make of that? Do you feel like it's good for boxing? Is it entertaining, or does it take stuff too far sometimes?
Yeah, I feel sometimes it goes too far, but I think it comes down to like selling the fighters and stuff. Like, but for me, I don't have to act disrespectful and in a certain way to sell tickets because I sell good tickets anyway. So I'll just be myself and people support me for that.
I love to hear that. And talking about that fight, who do you have winning, McKenna or Joe Laws?
I really, really like Joe Laws, but I do think Stephen McKenna's just better around all round fighter. But I do think it's going to be a brilliant fight, and you can't write Joe Laws off at all.
And you talk about that there, Joe Laws and Stephen McKenna. There's other names in the super welterweight division. What do you make of the super welterweight division in the United Kingdom and in the world? Because correct me if I'm wrong, is Terence Crawford's next fight at super welter for the title? Was it still welter?
No, it's 154 against Madrimov, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, what would you make of the division not only United Kingdom but in the world?
Uh, in the world, yeah, it's a brilliant division. It's thriving, but even in Great Britain, you've got brilliant fights on the horizon. You've got somebody who I've been sparring actually, Louis Green, the former Commonwealth champion. He's going to be fighting Sam Gilly soon for the British title, which is a blockbuster fight.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see that. Yeah, it's a good division. Got some good names in it and some good fighters. Yeah.
Yeah, the first one was a cracking war, and then also you have Jack McGann as well. You've got a load of fighters there. So now taking ourselves away from boxing for a little bit, I want to talk about Tyrone King. So Tyrone, let the fans know, for those who have been loyal supporters and those who've supported you from day dot and those who keep supporting you, tell the audience and tell the fans who you are as a person and just as a characteristic. If we were just to put the boxing gloves away or put the sport away from it, just talk about the person you are and who you are characteristically.
I'm just a straight up hardworking normal guy, really. If you respect me, I respect you as well. And if you want to be disrespectful and a bit of a knob, then I'll just put you to the back of my mind and don't think of you, to be honest.
I love that. And talk about that there. Correct me if I'm wrong, you're a Millwall fan, right?
Yeah, I actually used to like Chelsea, to be fair, but I can't afford to watch them every week. So I occasionally go and watch Millwall. Yeah, they're my favourite club in the Championship. I can't afford to watch the Premier League team every week.
Yeah. How comes you don't support West Ham?
Nah, West Ham the club as well, but just think I just went Millwall a few times with one of my mates, and I really liked it down there. Good atmosphere and stuff. So
Did you ever go with Hawley?
no, I've never been with Paulie. We was at the same game before, and he actually pitch invaded, I think, and got like suspended from the stadium for however long. But I was there when he did that.
I love that. And yeah, I went around, James, so I can't remember the game again, but I've said this story when I had Ross McGuigan on the channel. What was it? It was Blackburn. You needed to win to try to finish sixth to try to get promoted. Not the season that's just passed, the one before. And you're winning like 3-1 and then ended up losing 4-3. And we're in a pub in Bermondsey and then we end up going past the ground on the way out. But yeah, that was unfortunate. Last game of the season. Really close there. But talking about that, you got Chris Conger, you got Chris Burke, you got yourself, you got James Hawley. You have a load of the Oliphant twins. You got well, I don't know, I'm not sure if they're twins, but the Oliphant brothers. You got a load of Millwall fans. Would that be the dream to sell out the Den?
Yeah, it'd be good to fight in any football stadium, I think. But obviously, a football team that you like, yeah, it'd be double cool. Yeah, it'd be wicked.
I love to hear that. And talking about that there, as we were saying before, characteristic that I got 3 questions. You can either quick fire them or take them how you are. What's your favorite movie? What's your favorite film? And what's your what's your favorite film? What's your favorite TV series? And what's your favorite song?
My favourite song would probably be Teddy Swims the Door at the minute. My favourite movie would be Green Mile or $1 Million Baby or Hacksaw Ridge. They're 3 good movies.
Hacksaw Ridge, I love that. That's one of my personal favorites. Oh, Andrew Garfield. It's literally like I literally watched Dear John the other night, and those type of like not only romance but war movies. It brings something out of you. And the one thing that I took from that movie as well, and Andrew says, and it's just lovely how it went. But say just one more, and that's the mindset. You got to keep going every day. And favorite TV series?
Peaky Blinders or Night Agent on Netflix is a good one. Yeah, there's a few. Night Agent on Netflix is quite good.
Love that. And talking about that, proudly wearing it, what did you make of England's performance in the most recent Euros?
Yeah, I think England did all right to get to the final. I don't think they was at their best, and they still got to the final. So there's a trophy coming home soon.
100% and a strap as well. And it's bittersweet because, yeah, we weren't the best in our group stages and we were a bit poor against Slovakia. It's kind of like West Ham at times. You had to go 1-0 down to wake up or go down to wake up. But at the same time, as you said, if you played poor and we got to the final, imagine we started playing well, the best performance was Holland in the first half, in my opinion. And yeah, if we could have played like that all game, like we played like we were Man City or Liverpool. Anyways, moving on to that, talking about titles, where do you want to go after this fight? Obviously, this is a southern area. English, does Lee still have it, or is he going to vacate it for Junaid Boston and stuff?
I think he's vacated, and I think Junaid Bostan versus
Is it one of the Fail twins?
Davis, Ishmael Davis.
Oh, Ishmael Davis.
Yeah. To be honest, after this fight, I'm all eyes on this fight really. Get this one done, and then we'll see what's next. But I'm not going to get ahead of myself. Junaid Bostan and Ishmael Davis, they're two brilliant fighters, and they're probably a few levels above me at the minute. But that's not to say in a few years that they still will be, because I'm still getting better every day, still learning. So I'll probably look to defend the southern area, and then just see what's next.
I love that. And are you one of those people, because not many tend to defend the southern area? Obviously, you have Indabasi who did, you had Louis Doherty who did, but do you want to hold on to it? Do you want to defend it? Of course, like you said, your mindset is just this fight. It's not to look past it. But if you had a choice after, what would it be? Or you're not focusing on that at all?
No, I'm not really focusing on that yet. Just get one job done at a time and then focus on the next goal.
I love to hear that. And so just before we conclude, and I want to take things off of boxing again and also onto boxing. A few last questions on boxing. I want to ask you, if you could pick one dream location to fight, where would you want to fight? And one dream opponent? Could be anyone, any weight. Who do you want to fight?
My dream venue would be Wembley Stadium, definitely. Wembley Stadium, or even the O2 Arena, just one of the stadiums in the UK. And dream opponent, Hamza Shiraz, probably, because I'm kind of based my style on him at the minute, and I think he's a brilliant fighter.
I like that, and hopefully in the future we can get that done. And when he has that strap and that world title, we can get it made for that. And then I want to talk about other stuff there. You mentioned before slightly that you for your third or your second professional fight, you weren't with your gym. What have been the hardest moments in the sport for you, and what have been the best moments in the sport for you? Obviously, one coming in October, but what's been the lowest of lows and the highest of highs in the sport?
Probably the highest one was my last fight when I beat Grasso, because even in that fight, going into that fight, a lot of people were writing me off, saying that I'm not going to win and whatever. And it's the manner that I did win in. Like, he dropped me, and then literally 10 seconds I got up and knocked him out. So it's like a Rocky movie, literally. And then, yeah, in the pro career, I'd probably say my second pro fight was a bit of a rough one, because I was training on my own and stuff. But there's always highs and lows in any sport and any camp, really. And every fighter would tell you the same. So, but it's what makes you better.
I love to hear that. And you talk about that there, top tier shows, Johnny Clock show, they're 50-50 fights. You had a winning record, Lorenzo had a winning record. Does it just show how game you are? Because not many people at that stage of their career are willing to take on winning records, and you done it, and Johnny's getting more people to do it, and top tier's leveling up.
Yeah, the top tier's a good shows. Johnny's a good promoter, and that's what it's all about, especially for people that don't understand how boxing works. Like, you're getting a bit of money off sponsors. Like, for the Lorenzo fight, I didn't work for 6 months, so I didn't earn no money for 6 months. That's why I haven't boxed since then, because I'm not going to then go back down to boxer journeyman, because I've made that sacrifice to push forward in my career. So for me, it's all about having proper fights that are going to get me into a good position, or fights that are going to push me forward. Like, because you lose a lot of money in boxing, and if you didn't have sponsors backing you, then you wouldn't be able to do it.
And James Hawley said this as well, and it's no disrespect. Obviously, we need journeymen in the sport, but he said in terms of fans, you sell a hell of a lot more tickets when it's a 50-50 contest and an even bout because not your fans don't want to travel all the way to here, to A to Z, to watch you box a journeyman and spend their hard-earned cash. Loyal supporters will always be there, but when it's a big 50-50 matchup or a big fight or a title fight, everyone's want to come watch. So talking about that there, do you have a job outside of boxing or is boxing your full-time focus?
No, I do work usually in between fights and stuff, but luckily I'm at a good place at the minute. The job that I'm at, they're really understanding with my boxing and give me a bit of time off and work it around my training and stuff. So it's perfect.
I love to hear that. And just before we conclude, Tyrone, is there anything you wanted to get off your chest or for the fans to get to know you a little bit more?
No, just thanks to everyone who supports me and all my team of sponsors. Couldn't do it without them. And tune in on the 12th of October at York Hall, Bethnal Green. It's going to be a good night and I'm bringing a good fight.
I love to hear that. And last message, just before I let you go, you mention that to your fans. What you're going to bring a good fight. What's your message to Obi Egbunike or Kingsley Egbunike? And also, so let's answer that one first. What's your message to your opponent, your final message?
No, I don't have a message. Just good luck. Good hope training goes well and we'll see you on the night.
I love to hear that. And before I let you go, do you have any sponsors? Do you have any friends, family, teammates, coaches, everyone you want to shout out?
Yeah, just thanks to all my friends and family who support me and all my team, pushing me to be better every day. And big thanks to my team of sponsors. I got Preston's Accountants, Steve Fletcher Jewellery, TMT Heating, Mr. India Kent, AVS All Vehicle Services, Ben Paisley, and Price Post Surface and Dan Price and Tom Price.
I love to hear that. And last question, just before I let you go, what's your one motivational message to the world for fans to block out the outside noise, block out the negativity, block out the haters, and for them to follow and pursue their dreams?
If you listen to haters, then you're never going to get anywhere. You got to ignore them, and when people are putting you down, use that energy to your advantage and be positive with it and push forward and get somewhere and prove everybody wrong.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tyrone King, all the best on October 12th, God willing, and the new. And hopefully I'll see you there on the night. God bless, my man.
Yeah, definitely. God bless. Cheers, mate.
Cheers.